One of the biggest surprise games that came out in 2022 has to be Return to Monkey Island. Not only that, but it also brings back a lot of things that I loved about the original game.
Yeah! Sorry we ran off.
Also, Return to Monkey Island added so much more to the original, but the game series came out after a wait of over a couple of decades. Finally bringing something that wasn't just as good as the original game, but even better. The game brought a completely new adventure that was hilarious, while simultaneously being super emotional and giving players a chance to fully indulge in the depth that it provided. The last game that came out from the series was Monkey Island 2: LeChuck's Revenge.
Hey? Oh, it's you. What, that again?
Which came out back in 1991, so fans have been waiting for something from the series for a long time now, and the game truly delivers on its promises. Not just that, but you'll be delighted to know that the same characters you've loved from the start are still in it, including Guybrush Threepwood, the original protagonist.
Huh? What? I was just deep in the mushroom and lava-ridden caves under Monkey Island, and now I'm... Oh no. Not yet.
And LeChuck, the ghost pirate.
I guess you'll be first swab now, whatever your name is.
A promotion! I won't let you down.
But that's not all. One of the biggest things that it set apart from its previous entries is simply the fact that this time, the game brings along a bunch of different endings, and each of them is just as incredible as the rest.
You don't remember that from my other story? To get to Monkey Island, you have to brew a special potion.
With so much hype around the different endings it offers, along with an art style and visuals that are out of this world and a treat to look at, there's bound to be some kind of meaning behind every ending. But there's one that almost everyone will get on their first playthrough, the no secret ending. Why is this one of the endings almost everyone is bound to get?
Glad you finally made it, kid.
What, Stan?
It's closing time and everyone wants to go home.
To trigger it, players need to simply go away from the amusement park along with Elaine while completely ignoring the secret. What does that do though? It's quite simple. The game ends, and that's it. It doesn't even show the different kinds of post-credit scenes and ends without a cut to the present day.
God, that was a silly ending, and it didn't even make any sense. You're terrible at endings.
I thought you liked silly endings. You and Chucky play the ending of Monkey Island 2 really silly.
Though it has several variations, such as if you ignore the secret key and just go on, you get to see something super interesting in the game's prologue area. It's quite funny, but you see Chucky and Dee chasing each other with Dee holding the key, showing that their fight for the secret treasure is still going on. But there's still more. The amount of detail in this game is incredible. If you take the key but refuse to use it, if for some reason you don't like treasures in a golden chest, your character throws the key in a pool of lava, giving a throwback to the Lord of the Rings.
Okay, here goes.
But what happens if you do go for the secret ending? It's probably the best ending out there, and that's not just me saying that, but many people out there seem to agree with the sentiment. Well, let's imagine you take the secret key and open the secret chest that's been hyped up out of this world. What happens after that? It's quite anticlimactic, but that's supposed to throw players off with a shirt that is one of the funniest things ever. A shirt that says, "You finally found the island secret," but in the end, it just ended up being a shirt. That isn't where it all ends though. After the player is thrown off their guard and Guybrush is going back home with his wife Elaine, he ends up using the same key that Stan S. Stanman gives him to finally close the park back down.
Rain, thank goodness you're here.
Of course. Where else would I be?
This is where things get interesting, as you're taken to the present day, where your character is suspicious of his son because he asked his father what the chest had. You are then presented with one of the most important choices in the game, to pick an answer out of 5 that then define how the post-credit scene play out.
I want to know the secret. You have to tell me what you really found in the chest.
But despite what answer you choose, Guybrush just talks about how the story is more important than the ending, as the game hints towards the three going on another adventure in the future, while also showing that Guybrush is taking it all in before heading out, making it generally a happy and wholesome ending. But on the other hand, what kind of different things can you see in the Secrets Endings post-credit scene? You'd be surprised by just how much these scenes can differ from one another. If you choose the first option, saying it was full of gems and gold, you see your character jumping around and playing in a hoard of treasure. On the other hand, the second answer is your average. The real treasure was the friends you made along the way. All this shows Guybrush with his friends after they defeated LeChuck on a really small boat, just celebrating.
The secret was really the friends we made along the way. Stories are mainly the middle part, after all. And that's where most of the good stuff is.
But here's where things get interesting. One of the most ominous options out of Guybrush is telling his son that it's better if he doesn't know. And then he cuts to the treasure buried in the ground so no one can find it.
Mom was right. It's better not to know. Once you have an answer to a question like that, you lose the most important part of it.
The fourth option, where you're trying to convince your son you're telling the truth, brings about a super chill scene where the family gets tickets to the park.
I wasn't making anything up. That was what really happened.
Mom? Dad won't tell me what the secret is.
But could it hint toward another game? Though the final option, that there's more than one answer to the treasure's secret, is much more than it seems, and refers to a film by Christopher Nolan. Of course, it's Inception. While for the most part, it all seems all honky-dory, there's a dark ending called the accidental drowning ending. You're once again taken back to the traditions that the original games had, and are still carried on by the newest installment. That is, of course, the option to let your character die at some point in the game. It's easily the darkest ending you could go for. It can only happen during one of the few underwater segments that the game makes you go through. But it doesn't end there, and you have to do the same thing 2 more times after that, which takes even more time with each try as the game keeps on extending the amount of oxygen Guybrush has. If you run out of 8 minutes of oxygen, you get another 6 minutes. And if you still manage to die, despite having 14 whole minutes of oxygen with you, you get even more added. But things start to go down once all those added timers run out, and bring the game to a sad end with no real ending. All you see is that it's been cut to an empty bench and some text saying you accidentally drowned. While it isn't as dark as some games, it does stand out quite a bit, especially since it's in a game like Monkey Island. But that's not where it ends. There's still the I don't believe ending, and this is one of the endings that makes you work for it. Players have to go back to the caves under the island after they have gotten their hands on the keys to the park from Stan. But if for some reason you still try to go down this route without picking the key up, you're simply shown you and your wife going off on another adventure. Of course, in the post-credit scene, where most of the sweetest content from the game is. On the other hand, if you're able to get your hands on the key and take the shirt, the beloved character Voodoo Lady is shown again, making her way back to the shop, saying that she needs to take shorter breaks, indicating that all of this happened because she was on a break. That's all you need to know about the endings in Return to Monkey Island. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.